Thank you so much for joining this lesson. We're going to discuss the Masssa Joint Tests 2025. Therefore, this is a paper which has been designed by a group of examiners to help students to prepare for the KCSE 2027. This time round, we're going to focus on the section 2 of this exam. So it's my hope that as we discuss the section 2, you guys are going to benefit from the program. Remember to subscribe. Remember to share the link so that you may invite a friend. So as we continue learning, allow me to remind you of our program here, where you can purchase airtime from your M-Pesa to any line, Safaricom, Airtel, Telcom. Just going to your M-Pesa, Lipa na M-Pesa option. Then the pay bill number is 737356. Then the account number is your phone number now, the line that you're purchasing the airtime for. Then after that, you enter the amount, you complete the transaction, and you shall receive the airtime instantly. So please utilize this facility and share with friends. Next, the paper now, number 17. A farmer has 3 machines, A, B, and C in his farm. Machines A and B can finish a task in 3 hours and 4 hours respectively. When the 3 machines are all doing the same task at the same time, they can complete the task in 1 hour, 20 minutes. Calculate part 1, the time taken by machine C alone to complete the task. So we know that total time taken is already given when the 3 are working. So let's talk about the fractions done in 1 hour by the respective machines. So in 1 hour, machine A is going to do a portion of work. Remember, to do the whole task, A takes 3 hours. That means A covers a third in 1 hour. So that A requires total of 3 hours to finish the task. Then B, which takes a total of 4 hours, means that B is covering a quarter. B is covering a quarter. That's a good interpretation. Now, with that understanding, then we can check, what about the 3 of them? What about the 3 of them? Remember, they take 1 hour, 20 minutes. And 1 hour, 20 minutes can be interpreted into hours. So 1 1/3 hours, which is 4/3 hours. So the 3 machines take 4/3. So if we have the time taken, then we can have the fraction worked in 1 hour, which is the reciprocal. So A, B, and C cover 3/4 in 1 hour. A, B, and C cover 3/4. So when you are given the total time taken, you can get the fraction worked within an hour by taking the reciprocal. So the total time taken by all of them is 4/3. That means the 3 of them working together, they are covering 3/4 in an hour. So when we take a third, we add a quarter, then we add the unknown fraction of C, we are able to take 3/4 or to get 3/4. So we can find now the fraction worked by C. So to remain with C now, we shall talk about 3/4 minus a third and a quarter. A third and a quarter. So let me work out that. 3/4 minus, I open brackets, a third plus a quarter. So this gives us 1/6. So C working alone works 1/6 of the task in 1 hour. That means the time taken by C is now going to be 6 hours, the reciprocal. So given total time taken. For us to get fraction worked in an hour, we need the reciprocal. Given the fraction worked, for us to get total time taken, then we again take the reciprocal, which is now 6 hours in this case, because this is per hour. Because if we had been given 6 hours total time for C, we would have said per hour, C works a sixth. Now that we are given, or we are getting their sixth first, then total time becomes 6 hours. That's simple. That's simple. So we can now continue with the second part. We are also calculating the amount of work that machines A and C working together can do in 48 hours. So A in 1 hour, A works a third. In 1 hour, C works a sixth. So together, A and C are going to work. Let me work to that one. So a third and a sixth. This gives us a half. This gives us a half. So the two of them are able to work half in 1 hour. What about in 48 minutes? So we can change 48 minutes to hours. 48 out of 60 multiplied by 1/2. So what fraction of work is this? And I'm getting 2/5 of the work. Two out of 5 of the work. Yeah. 2/5 of the work. Now, if we have this done, I think we can proceed now to part B of the question. It's my hope that you've understood me at that stage. Okay, part B now. Look at this interesting question. Machines A and C start the work together, and after 48 minutes, the 48 minutes we were dealing with up there for the same machines here, A and C, A is turned off to allow B and C complete the remaining task or the remaining work. The cost of operating machines A, B, and C per hour is 5,000, 4,000, and 3,000 Kenya shillings respectively. Calculate the total cost of operating the machines in doing the work. So in this case, we shall say within the 48 minutes, 2/5 of the work is done. So remaining work is going to be, because 2 proportions out of 5 has been worked, then 3 out of 5 has remained. Now, if 3 out of 5 has remained, then we can check B and C working together. B and C per hour. You know, B alone works 1/4 and C a sixth. 1/4 and C a sixth. So what fraction do they work together in an hour? That would be 5 out of 12. 5 out of 12. They work 5/12 in 1 hour together. So if 5/12 is worked in 1 hour, then what about the remaining fraction? So 5/12, they work together in 1 hour. What about the remaining fraction, 3/5, when B and C now will complete alone? 1 times 3/5 divided by 5/12. So times 12/5 times 12/5. So they will work together for, let me check, 3 out of 5. This one multiplies 12/5 again. And this will be 1.44 or 1 and 11/25. So 1.44 hours. This is the long they will take working together. Therefore, let's check the total time taken by the respective machines now to finish the work. Remember, machine A works for 48 minutes only. So, the rate of working is per hour. So 48 minutes over 60 and per hour. These are the hours now. Hours. Then now A is turned off. What about B? B is going to work for to allow B and C. So we had B working for 1 hour, 1.44 hours. Then C is going to work for, remember C started working, and the time A is being turned off, C continued working with B. So C worked for 48 over 16, and also for the 1 hour, 44 minutes, together now with B. So we add 48 over 60 to 1.44, and this becomes exactly 2.24. 2.24 hours. 2.24 hours that way. So now that we have the total time worked by each individual machine to finish the work, then we can get the total time, the total cost of operating these machines. A 5,000. So we talk about 48 over 60 hours by 5,000. Then we add B 144 times 4,000 per hour. Then we add 2.24 hours times 3,000. Yeah, so that we get the total cost of doing the work in this particular day. So we can add all this, whereby we start with the 48 over 60 multiplied by 5,000. Then we add 1.44 multiplied by 4,000. Then we add 2.24 multiplied by 3,000. Now this is giving me 16,480. 16,480 Kenya shillings. So that is the total cost of doing work in this particular day. A very good question for this matter. Very good. Let's look at number 18. This is our second question in the section 2. Remember, you are allowed to choose your best 5 questions, but in this platform, we shall present all the questions so that a learner may get room for choosing their best after considering their strength in the different topics. The table below shows marks scored by 40 candidates in a test. With the marks in classes there, then we have frequencies, the number of students in each particular class. On the grid provided, draw a cumulative frequency curve to represent the data. Cumulative frequency curve is also called an OGIVE. So we are drawing an OGIVE. Cumulative frequency should be calculated first. Remember, we start with the first frequency of 1. Then we add the next one, which is 4. 1 plus 3, we get 4. Then 4 plus 7, we get 11. 11 plus 13, this gives us 24. 24 plus 8, this will give us that 2. Plus 5, 37. Plus 3, 39. Plus 1, 40. That way. So we've come up with another row, which is giving us cumulative frequencies. Now we shall be plotting cumulative frequencies against upper boundaries. Cumulative frequencies against upper boundaries. So let me draw the axis first. Is the vertical axis. This is where we shall have cumulative frequencies. Then on the x-axis, or rather the horizontal axis, we shall have the marks. But in this case, I'm going to have the upper limits of each class. So we start with the least upper boundary, which is a 19.5. The least lower boundary, 19.5, all the way to 24.5. Yeah. From 19.5 to 24.5, the upper boundary. So we start with 19.5. 19.5. Then in the next, you know, I can use intervals of 5, yeah? So I go to 24.5, 24.5, then 29.5, 34.5. Then we can talk about 39.5. Then after this, we can have 44.5. After 44.5, we can talk about 49.5, then 54.5, then 59.5, 64.5. That way. Let me check the highest. The biggest class here is 59.5. Yeah, I think that's enough. This looks like it was a contest because the best learner is only between 55 and 51. Anyway, we now go to the plotting now. We need cumulative frequencies against upper boundaries. So we will have 1 plotted against 24.5. 1 plotted against 24.5. We've not even plotted the axis here. Remember, we are running from to 40 all the way from 1 to 40. So we can use intervals of 5. Yeah, sorry for that. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, such a scale. So 1, 24.5, 1. And 1 is exactly, let me use a different color there now. We can use this green. So 1 is at this point. Then 29.5 against 4. 29.5 against 4. 4 is somewhere there below 5. Then after 4, we are going to 11. After 4, we go to 11, just above 10. Then after 11, we're going to 24. Yeah, after 11, we go to 24, just below 25. 24 is there. After 24, we have a 32. So we go to 32. 30, 31, 32 is here. Then after 32, we talk about 37. So we should talk about 37. 37, just after 35, 37 will be found here. And after that 7, we have a 39 and finally 40. So 39 will be at this point. Yeah, 39 at that point. And finally 40. Yeah, finally 40 that way. So now we're supposed to join these dots. They are already suggesting an OGIVE, which is in the shape of a stretched letter S. Let's see. Let's see the OGIVE and how it will come out. So I'm using a different ink now for the OGIVE. Yeah, that way. So now we have the OGIVE at this point, a very smooth curve. Yeah, I hope that you guys, from wherever you are, given this data, you'll be able to come up with a very smooth curve, as you can see mine. That way. Now from this OGIVE, we are advised to use the curve to estimate the median. The first thing is the median. So what would be the median mark? This is the mark which has been scored by the middle learner. Out of 40 learners, divide by 2, I'm getting 20. So the mark that coincides with the 20th learner, the mark coinciding with the 20th mark, the 20th learner. So 20th learner is at this point. Yeah, that way. Then now we check the mark that coincides with that. Actually, we should be reading this using a different color instead of the color that has drawn the curve. That way. Then we now check on the marks column. So we check that what value of mark will be at that point. So we can say this is a 34.5. So 35.5, 36, 37. Then we are not adding a full mark now. We are adding a half. So 37.5, and we add a half because you can see the line is through the middle of a small square. So that will be exactly at 38. So the median equals to 38. Very simple. The next should be the quartile deviation. So for us to get the quartile deviation, we need Q3 minus Q1. Then this should be divided by 2. What is Q3? 3/4 of this data. So 3/4 of the total population. What have they scored? This will be the 30th. We need the mark scored by the 30th. Then also Q1. This will be Q3. So for us to get Q1, the lower quartile, we need a quarter of the total, and that becomes 10. So we need the mark scored by the 10th student and also the mark scored by the 30th student. Then from those marks, we will be able to get quartile deviation. So we go to learner number 10. Learner number 10. Let's check learner number 10. Let me now go down that value of the section so that we may see the mark. Yeah, again, through a small square. Now we can talk about 29.5, 30.5, 40, 31.5, 32, 33.5, and now before 34.5 in between. So we are not adding a full mark, we are adding a half to 33.5. We add a half and we get exactly 34. So Q1 equals to 34 marks. Q1 equals to 34. What about Q3? Now we check 30th learner and what he or she has scored 30th. At that point, then we come down now through that. We come down and we read the value of the mark, again coinciding with this. So what are we having here? From 39.5, this is a 40.5, 41, 42.5, then 42.5, we add half. 42.5 plus half. So we get 43. Yeah, we get 43. Get 43. So Q1 or Q3 now equals to 43. So with Q1 and Q3, we can get quartile deviation, which needs 43 minus 34. Then this should now be divided by 2. 43 minus the 34. Then we divide by 2. I'm getting 4.5. Yeah, 4.5. That is the quartile deviation. Let's check number 3. The percentage of candidates that scored above 43. The percentage of candidates that scored above 43. So we go to 43 marks. We go to 43 marks. You see 43 is already here. 43 marks is already there. So we go to 43 marks and check the learners which align with that. That is automatically the 30th. The 30th. So with 43, at this point, we are automatically having 30, that point. So that one we have already identified, 30. So now we ask ourselves now, the learners scoring 43 and above are from 30 upwards. So 30 to the 40th. So how many learners are there? And remember, the 30th learner is included. So when you take all the students 40 from the 30th, we are getting 10, but we should add 1 because students, candidates, 11 candidates scored 43% because it is from the 30th all the way to, remember the 30th learner here, 30th learner is scoring exactly 43. Therefore, from that learner all the way to 40. Remember, if we were talking about those who scored above 43, and that scored above 43, actually we don't have to add 1. We don't have to add 1 because we need those above 43. This question is different from 43 and above. Those who scored 43 and above, we shall add 1 to show that the 30th candidate is among them. But here, the 30th is at the border. The 30th is the one scoring 43. So we need the ones above that, but not the ones with 43. So the percentage of candidates that scored above 43 will be 10 of them out of 40. We make it a percentage. And this will be 25%. This will be 25%. So that's how we are supposed to work out. I hope that we are together there. So when we are told above 43, so we check the 43rd mark, which is already identified here. Then from the OGIVE, the number of learners are 30 exactly. So 30 all the way to the last student now. That is 40th. The learners between there are 10. 10 learners. 10 learners. From the 31st all the way to the 40th, they are 10. But if we had been told 43 and above, then we would have added the 30th student. So that is it on the OGIVE, which is part of statistics 2. Okay. Let's check number 19 now. Check number 19, a very simple question. The table below shows income tax slab used in a certain year. We have taxable income in Kenya shillings. We have the tax rates there already indicated. A civil servant earns a basic salary of 35,689 Kenya shillings. In addition, she receives the following monthly allowances. House allowance, 12,200 Kenya shillings. Medical allowance, 6,310 Kenya shillings. And commuter allowance, 3,800 Kenya shillings. She has a life insurance policy for which she pays a monthly premium amounting to 7,200 Kenya shillings. She is entitled to a personal relief of 2,400 Kenya shillings per month and insurance relief equivalent to 15% of her monthly premium. Calculate part 1, taxable income, and part 2, monthly net tax. Let's start with taxable income, which is supposed to be basic salary plus taxable allowances. Not all allowances. Sometimes employees can enjoy non-taxable allowances. So we are now adding all taxable allowances. 35,689 plus the first allowance, which is house allowance, 12,200 plus medical, 6,310, commuter, 38 0.00. So this now shall give us a total of 57,999. Yeah, 57,999, not 59, 57,999 Kenya shillings. So that is the taxable income. So now for us to get the net tax, we are going to tax this amount. So from the first bracket, from the first bracket, we are taxing 12,298. 12,298 at 10%. So 12,298 at 10%. The tax obtained here shall be 1229.80 Kenya shillings. Then in the next bracket, now we are going to subtract 23,885 minus 12,298. And that is going to give us exactly 11,587. 11,587. 11,587. This one should be multiplied by the rate of taxation there, which is 15% in that bracket. Now, when we multiply by 15%, we're going to get 1738.05 Kenya shillings. In the next bracket, we need to talk about 35,472 minus the limit before, minus 23,885. This gives us 11,587. 11,587 again at the rate of 20%. I should give a precaution here. Let learners never assume that all the limits are giving us the same amount of tax per bracket. You should subtract in each individual bracket. Please make sure you subtract in every slab. Okay, this one at the rate of 20% shall give us a tax of 2317. 2317.40. Then we proceed to the next bracket, 47,050,059. We subtract the limit in the previous bracket. So we subtract 35,472. And this is going to give us 11,587 again. 11,587. This one at the rate of 25%. And we shall obtain a tax of 2896.75. Then finally now, we have taxed up to this point, but we are to tax a total amount of 57,999. So we take 57,999, that is the total taxable income, and we subtract the amount taxed up to this far, which is 47,059, so that we may know the amount which will lie in the last bracket. And this is going to be 10,940. 10,940. This one at the rate of 30% is giving us 3282.00. So we can get the gross tax now by adding up everything. The gross tax. We add up everything, and this will give us 11,464. This is now the gross tax per month, which this lady is able to pay. But now we need the net tax, whereby we should first subtract all the reliefs, tax reliefs. Insurance relief equivalent to 15% of the monthly premium. So insurance relief 15% of 7,200. And that will be 1080. So now we'll say net tax shall be the gross tax. We subtract reliefs, 1080, and the personal relief, 1080 and personal relief. Let me check the personal relief, which is 2400. So this is going to give us a net tax of 79.84 Kenya shillings. 79.84, 7,984 Kenya shillings. Now we proceed to the part B of this. From our monthly earnings, the civil servant pays 1,500 Kenya shillings contribution towards social security and 5,000 Kenya shillings towards SACCO shares. In a certain month of that year, the civil servant received dividends amounting to 36,000 Kenya shillings, which was taxed. This amount in a particular month is being taxed. That means because the initial earnings were taking us to the last band, then this amount will all lie in the last band, which was taxed. Calculate the civil servant's net earnings this particular month. So the payee is going to change, which is the net tax. So we check 36,000 at the rate of 30. How much tax are we going to have from these dividends? This is 10,800. So we can talk about the new payee, the new net tax, 79.84, and we add 10,800. This is going to give us a, let me work out that addition very fast, 18,784. 18,784 that way. So how do we get net earning? Net earning or net salary is always given by gross income minus all deductions. All deductions. So let's talk about gross income. The gross income is all the amount that he's going to get. All the income that he's going to get. So all the income shall be, let's check all the income. We were already having the taxable income, and we are adding again 36,000. So that was a 57,999. Then we add 36,000 from dividends. That is now the gross income. Then we subtract all deductions. For your information, the first deduction should be the payee. So payee is 18,784. Other deductions now will follow. Other deductions are here, 1,500. Another deduction is 5,000. Another deduction that this gentleman, not a gentleman, but a lady, this civil servant pays is a 7,200 for premiums. 7,200 for premiums. Anything else she pays? Anything else that she pays? I don't think there is anything else according to the available information. So now the difference here is going to be exactly 61,515. 61,515 Kenya shillings. So this is now the net income, the net earnings for this particular lady who is a civil servant with the government of Kenya in this particular year. So that is it on the question on income tax. We check number 20 now. Now the vertices of a triangle are A 23, B 53, and C 41. A transformation T maps triangle ABC onto triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. The coordinates of A prime and B prime under T are -43, and negative 1, 3, respectively. Find part 1, the matrix of transformation represented by T. We're supposed to know that a matrix multiplied by object should give us image. So this matrix unknown can be let be A, B, C, D. Those are the elements in the matrix of transformation. Remember, we deal with a 2 by 2 matrix of transformation. Now, when we multiply this with the object of A is 2, 3, and B, which is 5, 3, then we're supposed to get A prime, which is now negative 4, 3, and B prime, which is negative 1, 3, that way. So from this expression now, we can find A and B. So from the first row, when multiplied by the column, we should get the first element. So A by 2 plus B by 3, we should get negative 4. And again, when we take the same row times the next column, we should get negative 1. So 5 by A and 3 by B should give us negative 1. So with this now, we can eliminate. The two simultaneous equations can be solved using elimination because we can see the coefficients of B are already the same. So when we subtract 3B minus 3B, that one becomes a 0. Negative 4 minus 1 becomes a negative 3. And 2A minus 5A becomes negative 3A. So the value of A shall be exactly 1. Exactly 1. That way. Let's check the value of B, because we're supposed to substitute 1 now in the equations. So 2 times A means 2 times 1 plus 3B equals to negative 4. At this point now, we can talk about 3B being equal to negative 4 minus 2, which is a negative 6. See, the value of B becomes negative 2 now after dividing through by 3. Yeah. So let's check the other elements in this matrix, which are CD. So C and D, that row multiplied by the first column means 2 by C and 3 by D should give us the first element, which is 3. Then again, the same row by the last column here, meaning 5 by A and 3 by D should give us 3 again at this point. So now we subtract corresponding terms. 5C by 3A giving us negative 3A, 3D and 3D, that one cancels, was 0. Then 3 and 3 gives us a 0. And the value of C, this one is supposed to be C. So this one is 3C, sorry. C becomes a 0. If C is 0, it will be very easy for us to get D. If C is a 0, it will be very easy for us to get a D. Therefore, we need to talk about from the first equation, 2 by C plus 3D equals to 3. So 3D equals to 3 and D equals to 1. This means now we can write the matrix T now, whereby A is 1, B is negative 2, C is 0, D 1. So this is the matrix of transformation now. Yeah, obtained in a very simple way. Part 2 of this. Look at the question. The coordinates of C should be determined. The image of C under T. The image of C under T. So T is 1, negative 2, 0, 1 multiplied by C. C is 4, 1. That way, this will give us now the image. So we need this row times the column to give us the first element. So 1 by 4 and negative 2 by 1. 1 into 4 and negative 2 into 1. This gives us positive 2. Then we go to the second row and the first column, whereby 0 into 4 plus 1 into 1 is giving us exactly 1. Therefore, the coordinate of C prime is 2, 1. Yeah, 2, 1. Very true. 2, 1, that way. Now with this, let's talk about now part B. A matrix U, which is 2, negative 1, 1, 3, maps triangle A prime, B prime, C prime onto triangle A double prime, B double prime, and C double prime. Part 1, determine a single matrix. Determine a single matrix that maps triangle. That maps triangle A double prime, B double prime, and C double prime onto triangle ABC, the original triangle. Yeah, the original triangle. So we have several approaches here that we can follow, and they are all sure methods. Let me choose one, which I hope you shall cooperate with us. I'll start by finding the image of the double prime now, the second image, whereby I need to take 2, negative 1, 1, 3. That way, multiplied by, now we have A, B, C. C is 2, 1, it's already here. Then B is 1, 3, negative 1, 3. Negative 1, 3, and A is negative 4, 3, right? Yeah, negative 4, 3. Now these ones are being mapped onto this one. After multiplying by this matrix of transformation, we'll get A double prime, B double prime, and C double prime. So let's check what we shall get here. We begin with the first element. This row multiplied by the first column here, we'll get the first element. So I write in my calculator 2 into negative 4, then negative 1 into 3. That way, I get negative 11. The next column will be the same row and the next column for me to get the next element. So 2 into negative 1 and negative 1 into 3. This gives me 5. The next element shall be the same row, the last column here. So 2 into 2, negative 1 into 1. This is going to give me exactly 3. Then on the other side now, I have to take the second row times the first column. You know the second row is having 1. I multiply this by negative 4. Then 3 by 3. Yeah, 3 by 3. So this is giving us negative 1. The next, the same row and the next column here. So 1 into negative 1. Then 3 into 3, giving us 8. And finally, the same row and the very last column. So 1 and 2 plus 3 into 1. This will give us exactly 5. So now we have the coordinates of A double prime, B double prime, and C double prime. Now we are talking of a known matrix, A, B, C, D. According to this question now, we need a single matrix that will map the double image, which is negative 11, negative 1, 5, 8, 3, 5, onto the first triangle. The first triangle, 2, 3, 5, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 5, 3, 4, 1. So we need a matrix of transformation now, which will map the final triangle into the first. Yeah, into the first. I think it's 4, 1. Yeah. 5, 3, and 2, 3. Good, that way. So let's get now the triangle, the matrix of transformation now responsible in this particular transformation. So this one multiplied by this should give us the first element. So negative 11a, negative b, yeah, should give us 2. Negative 11a minus b, because negative 1 multiplies b should give us 2. Then again, we can use the same row with the next column to give us 5. So 5a plus 8b, this one is giving us 5. So that is a pair of, that's a pair of simultaneous equations, whereby we can say from the first one, the value of b, because I'm taking it to the right to be positive, equals to negative 11a minus 2. Negative 11a minus 2. So the second equation can be rewritten now, substituting b. So 5a plus 8 into 11a minus 2 equals to 5. 11a minus 2 equals to 5. That way, we can now group terms together. We can group terms together here. 5 and negative 88. Okay. So 5a minus 88a, then minus 16 equals to 5. So 5 minus 88, this will give us negative 83a equals to, this is equivalent to 5 minus 16, giving me negative 11. So how do I ensure that I remain with a? I'm supposed to divide. I'm supposed to divide a negative 83, both sides. So that 11 is divided by negative 83 that way. And this simplifies to, is going to simplify to 11 over 83. Is it my hope that I've not made a mistake in any of the in any of the workings? Let me hope that. It's my hope that I didn't make a mistake in any of the workings. So I'm hoping that that one is well worked out. We can also talk about something else here, because we have A. How can we get B? How can we get B? B will be given by negative 11 over 83. Then now, after this, we subtract 2. So how do we get B? Let me work out that. Negative 11 into 11 over 83. Then I'm subtracting 2. So this is going to give us negative 3 and 38 out of 83. That is the value of B. Now let's go to the next. Let's go to the next column so that we may determine C and D. So CD now should multiply again the first column. CD should multiply the first column, whereby I get negative 11C and negative D. These ones should give us 3. Then again, we talk about 5C plus 8D to give me again 3 that way. So from these two, we can talk about the value of D becoming negative 11C minus 3. Negative 11C minus 3. Now with this, we can write equation 2 as 5C plus 8 into negative 11C minus 3 equals to 3. Yeah, equals to 3 that way. So with this now, 5C minus 88C minus 24 equals to 3. Now we group terms, negative 88 and 5. This will give us negative 83C. This is equal to 27. Because we have 3 plus 24. For us to remain with C, then we have to take 27 over negative 83. And this is going to give us negative 27 over 83 that way. Then now we can talk about the value of D, which is a negative 11. The value of C, which is negative 27 over 83 minus 3. So negative 11 into negative 27 over 83. Then I subtract 3. This is going to be 48 over 83. So we have every element. So this single matrix now shall be A. A is 11 out of 83. B, negative 3 and 38 over 83. C is going to be negative 27 over 83. And then we shall have D, which is 48 out of 83. So that is the matrix. And that is how we're supposed to work. So now, in this question, you can just cross-check kindly. Maybe in the computation of the images here, but the procedure is the best. So please make sure you use such an approach when working out. Now we're supposed to talk about now Roman 2. Given that the area of triangle ABC is 3 square units, calculate the area of triangle A prime, B prime, and C prime. So the area of the first triangle, is already given 3 units. Then the area of the final one should be calculated. Remember this one, we just supposed to use if you don't mind, we're going to apply what we call area scale factor and the determinant. Area scale factor and the determinant. Therefore, the matrix responsible of mapping, the area responsible of mapping this triangle, let me check. Yeah, this triangle onto ABC is already known. So if this matrix is known, then we can find let's work out what you call the determinant. The matrix is here. What is the determinant of this matrix? So the determinant is going to be given by 11 over 83 multiplied by 48 over 83. Then we subtract negative 27 over 83 by negative 3 and 38 over 83, so that we may get the determinant. So let me open my brackets here. 11 over 83 multiplied by 48 over 83 minus, we open brackets again, negative 27 over 83 multiplied by, this one I'll multiply by negative 3 and 38 over 83. That way. And this is going to give me, I'm getting a weird value here, which is negative 0.75. Yeah, negative 0.75. So we need absolute value of determinant for us to get area scale factor, which is 0.75. So the matrix which is multiplying, or the matrix which is transforming A, B, C double prime to the original triangle is having a scale factor equivalent to 0.75. Then it means for us to get the area of this second triangle now, is supposed to multiply it by, we multiply 3 by 0.75. So when we multiply 0.75 by 3, we're getting 2.25 square units. Yeah, 2.25 square units. So that is it. Number 21 now. Complete the table below for the function y equals to x power 3 plus 3x power 2 minus 6x minus 8. We complete the table. So we're supposed to know that the value of y can be obtained for every corresponding value of x. So, for example, here, when we are starting with negative 5, x equals to negative 5, we go to the function. We start by, we open brackets negative 5 power 3. Then we add 3 into, you open brackets again, negative 5, you square. Then you subtract 6 into negative 5, and you subtract 8. This is giving me negative 28. So this value has been properly computed. The next value of x is a negative 4. So back to the function, negative 4 power 3 plus 3 into negative 4 squared minus 6 into negative 4, then minus 8. This giving exactly a 0. Then we go to negative 3. We start with opening of brackets negative 3 cubed, then plus 3, we open brackets negative 3 power 2 minus 6 into negative 3, then minus 8. This giving us positive 10. The next is a negative 2. So you open brackets negative 2 cubed plus 3, you open brackets negative 2 squared minus 6 into negative 2 minus 8. This is giving us positive 8. Yeah. At negative 1, the value is already filled. Then with 0, when we fix 0 everywhere here, we shall get a negative 8 at that point. Then from there, we can check at now positive 2 because positive 1 is already given. So it starts with 2 power 3 plus 3 into 2 squared minus 6 into 2 minus 8. This is going to be 0, exactly 0. Then at positive 3 now, 3 power 3 plus 3 into 3 squared minus 6 into 3 minus 8. This is going to be positive 28. Yes. So we have now all the values properly computed. You use a calculator very well to come up with all the values. And after this now, we go to the second part, whereby we've been advised to use the values in the table above to draw the graph of the function y equals to x power 3 plus 3x squared minus 6x minus 8 for the range of the values of x between -5 and a +3. Use a scale of 1 centimeter for 1 unit on the horizontal axis, that is the x-axis, and 1 centimeter for 5 units on the vertical axis. So when the scale has been chosen by the examiner, then we have no choice. You don't come up with your own scale. You have to apply what the examiner is talking about. So let me now start by plotting the axis. Let me start by plotting the axis. Here. X-axis there. That's the y, sorry. The y-axis. Then the x-axis somewhere at the mid here. The horizontal axis. The scale has been given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Then for the vertical axis, we are talking about 5 units. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, like that. And on the other side, -5, -10, -15, -20, -25. Yeah, such a thing. Let's now do some plotting here. Some plotting whereby the first coordinate is -5, -28. So -5, okay, this is 30. So -5, -28. After 25, 26, 27, 28. So that's where it's going to be. Then -4, we have 0. So -4, 0 should be there. -3, 10. So -3, 10 is going to be at this point, that way. -2, 8. So -2 with 8, it's going to be here. -1 with 0. So -1, 0 shall be at this point. After that, we can talk about 0, 0, -8. So 0, -8 at this point. Then 1 goes with -10. 1, -10 at this point. What about 2? 2 goes with 0. So back again to 0. Then 3 goes with 28. 3, 28, the last coordinate at that point. So now we have all the coordinates plotted. Now we draw the graph. We join the graph using a very smooth curve. Very smooth curve. That way. So the turning again. So we're supposed to be very careful. This way. Yeah, so we have the cubic curve already plotted. A very good graph for this matter. Very good. So with this graph now, we proceed to answer questions in the part C of this. From the graph, determine part 1. Part 1 is a solution of the function. This is the function that we are solving. So every function is solved by subtracting it from the function which has been plotted. We have plotted y equals to x power 3 plus 3x squared minus 6x minus 8. That is the plotted function. So with that as the plotted function, now we subtract 0 equals to x power 3 plus 3x squared minus 13x minus 15. Now we subtract everything. Y minus 0, that's y, equals to, when you subtract that cancels, this one also cancels. So we have negative 6 minus negative 13. So minus 6 minus a negative 13 means plus 13, whereby we are getting 7x, then minus 8 minus a negative 15. This gives us 7. Yeah, that gives us 7 that way. So we are already having the equation of the straight line, which is going to be plotted to represent the function to be solved. Therefore, we need to talk about now a small table of values. When x is 0, the value of y shall be 7. When x is 3, for example, when x is 3, we're going to have 21 plus 7, which is 28. That way. So we can use these two coordinates to plot the line. 0, 7, whereby 7 is just above 5, and 328. Yeah, 328 is up there. So we can connect the two values. Can connect the two values so that we may come up with a very straight line. A very straight line. This is now the straight line. Then for us to solve now the function which we had been given, we are supposed to look at the coordinates where this straight line is cutting the curve which had been drawn. So those points are negative 5 at x now, negative 5. So the values of x shall be negative 5. The value of x shall also be negative 1 and also positive 5. So all the three roots of x are those ones. Positive 5, really? No, positive 3. That's where it's cutting. Yeah. Positive 3. The other thing that we are determining from the graph is the stationary points. Stationary points are the turning points of a curve, the lowest points possible. And those ones will be given as coordinates. So the first coordinate where the curve is turning is negative 310. We check another coordinate where the curve is turning. Being a cubic curve, actually, it has two turning points. So the other turning point is a 1, negative 10, this coordinate, 1, negative 10. So those are the stationary points of the curve. Remember, stationary points of a curve can be determined otherwise. We don't have only one method of determining stationary curves, stationary points. But now you've been instructed to use the graph. That's simple. Number 22 now. A very good question here. The figure below shows a rectangular-based pyramid, a VPQRS. Now points A and B are midpoints of the slant edges, VQ, VR respectively. So VQ, VR, the midpoints are A and B. That's what you're supposed to know. Yeah, A and B. PQ equals to 15 centimeters, the length PQ 15 centimeters, as you can see on the diagram. QR equals to 18, as you can see on the diagram. Then VP equals to VQ equals to VR equals to VS, which is equal to 32. So all the slanting edges are equivalent to 32 centimeters. The pyramid is sliced along the plane PABS. PABS, as you can see, PABS, yeah? That's such that we have a plane there, PABS, whereby AB is the mid. To form a solid, which is PQRS, BA. Yeah, as you can see. Calculate the perpendicular height of this pyramid first. So perpendicular height of the pyramid can be gotten very fast. Let's first see what the PR, the length PR is. From P to R, since the base is rectangular, we can use Pythagoras theorem. And with Pythagoras theorem, we will say 15 squared plus 18 squared, then the square root. We are getting 23.43. 23.43. Yeah, so PR equals to 23.43. Now with this, we need to say that the vertical height now is from V all the way to the mid of the base. All the way to the mid of the base, up to that point. So we need half of this length, 11.72. So we need 11.72 to be used together with 32. 11.72 will be used together with the 32 to give us the vertical height. So the vertical height will be 32 squared minus 11.72 squared. We take the square root now. So we can say 32 squared minus that value squared, then the square root. This is giving me 29.78. Yeah, 29.78. Yeah, so we centimeters, sorry. So we have our vertical height, rather the perpendicular height for this particular solid. A very good question. Now we proceed to part B of this, whereby now we are dealing with the angles. Calculate correct to 1 decimal place the angle between AP and the base. AP and the base. Where is AP? AP and the base. AP and the base. AP and the base. So we're supposed to look at that very carefully. With AP and the base. Remember, we need to talk about now. We need to talk about a length which is from a length which is from A to the base, that way. Yeah, A to the base. A to the base. That way. From A to the base, that way. Remember, not to the center, but just to the base. Then the angle that we need now is at this point. The angle that we need is lying at that point. So we are supposed to know that the distance can be obtained. The distance from P to this point M can be obtained because it will be 2/3 of PR. Yeah, the distance will be 2/3 of PR. Now, if that distance is 2/3 of PR, if the distance is 2/3 of PR, or actually, instead of using the length PR, let's talk about, we need the angle here. And we know that the plane PABS is cutting the vertical height 2/3 from top, or simply 1/3 from the base. Therefore, 1/3 of the vertical height, which is 29.78. Yeah, 29.78 will be here, assuming this point X now. So from X to O, it shall be 1/3 of the total height, which is 9.93. Now, if we are having that height and it's perpendicular to the base, and we are also having 11.78, then we can get the angle that we need. Yeah, we can get the angle that we need. And how shall we get this particular angle? This particular angle now will be gotten by, we can apply tangent actually. So tan of this particular angle equals to opposite length, 9.93, out of the adjacent length, 11.72, that way. So that this one will be given by the tan inverse of 9.93 over 11.72. So what is the value of this angle? So we talk about 9.93 over 11.72, then shift tan or tan inverse, 40.26. Yeah, I'm having 40.26. 40.26. 40.26 degrees. 40.26 degrees. 40.26 degrees. So we have, yeah, we have the angle as 40.26 degrees. Then finally, in Roman 2, the angle between PABS, let's look at that. PABS, let's check that. PABS, the plane there, and VSP, yeah, VSP. So we can get first the angle between VSP and the base. VSP and the base. Let me show you on the diagram. We need first to get the angle between these two planes, which is the base and VSP. So the root here. We need this angle first. So we have the perpendicular height, and also assuming this is Y, this is O, we have the distance from Y to O, which is 7.5. So the angle at this point can be obtained first between VSP and the base. So this angle can be given as, let me check this angle. The height is 29.78. So we apply tangent again. Tan theta will be equal to opposite 29.78 out of 7.5. Yeah, then we get theta by tan inverse of 29.78 out of 7.5. So what are we going to obtain in this case? 29.78 divided by 7.5. Then we take shift tan 75.86. 75.86 degrees. 75.86 degrees. Then now we will talk about the plane the plane which is at check now here. The plane which is at P A B S and the base. PABS and the base. Again, we shall choose to use a third of the whole height. Third of the whole height. A third of the whole height. So we need the angle here. So a third of the whole height. This one to be used with the distance here, which is also 7.5. And a third of the whole height, we said this one is 9.93. 9.93. So with that, we will be in a position to obtain the angle between the slanting plane and the base. Yeah, the slanting plane and the base. So we can call that angle beta and say the tan of beta equals to opposite length 9.93 out of adjacent 7.5. So beta shall be the tan inverse of 9.93 over 7.5. This will be equal to, I start by taking 9.93 over 7.5, then shift tan or tan inverse, which is 52.94. 52.94 degrees. Now with these two angles now, we can subtract them. We can subtract them to get now the angle between the two planes, because we are already having PABS and the base. Then we are also having VSP and the base. So VSP and the base is the bigger angle from here all the way to the base. Then we are now having from this plane all the way to the base. So we can get the remaining angle at this point now. Thereby we need to take the difference between these two angles. So I need to pick the angle now that we need, 75.86 minus 52.94. So this is going to give us 75.86 minus 52.94. This giving us 22.92 degrees, 22.92 degrees. These are very technical questions. You're supposed to know that according to the centroid theorem, if a plane passes through a certain pyramid from the base such that it has to cut one of the planes at the mid, then it means by the time it's passing through here, then it shall divide the vertical height. It shall divide the vertical height into a third and 2/3. A third and 2/3, that way. That is a law. And that is how it works. So with that knowledge, you'll be able to work out such a question. Number 23 now. A bag contains 8 blue, 3 green, and some red marbles. The marbles are similar except for the colors. 2 marbles are picked from the bag, one after the other and without replacement. This is probability. The probability that the 2 marbles picked are both blue is 7 out of 30. Calculate the number of red marbles in the bag. Calculate the number of red marbles in the bag. Then in part B, represent the information on a tree diagram. Actually, now I'm supposed to start this question by sketching part B. we are picking two marbles. These marbles can either be, let me check, blue, green, or red. So BGR, blue, green, or red. That way. What is the probability of picking blue? Picking blue shall be 8 out of a certain, if we let red to be X, now it will be a total of 8, 3, and X. 8, 3, and X, which is 11 plus X. So the first picking, we will have 8 out of 8 over 11 plus X. Then picking green, there are 3. So 3 out of the same total, 11 plus X. Then picking red, it's now the X out of the same total, that way. Then now after picking, in the second picking, if we had picked blue, we can have all the possibilities, either a blue again, or a green, or a red. Now, picking a blue for the second time, when we had picked a blue, the blue ones will go down to 7. And now the new total shall be also after reducing 1, which will be 10 over X. 10 plus X, that way. You see now it is through this whereby we are having blue followed by a blue. So we are told now in the information here that the probability of picking 2 blue is going to be 7 over 30. So this probability of 7 out of 30 will be given by probability blue followed by blue, which is 8 over 11 plus X multiplied by 7 over 10 plus X, that way. So now with this interpretation, we can first find the value of X. Yeah, we find the value of X. So now let me use the LCM actually. 30, 11 plus X, 10 plus X, that way. So LCM divided by 30, we will have X 7 into 11 plus X and 10 plus X, that way, equals to LCM divided by the denominator, which is 8 over something there. We will have 11 plus X cancelling, so that we have 8 multiplied by 30 and also 10 plus X, that way. Then multiply this by LCM. Okay, actually, we can make it simpler in this way. Let me just take you back a little bit. Go to I take you back. We make this one a common numerator. 7 over 30 equals to 56 out of 11 plus X, 10 plus X. Yeah, that way. The work will become simpler actually. So now, let me now put them under the LCM now. I put them under the LCM. So 30, 11 plus X, 10 plus X, that way. So LCM divided by 30, we shall have 7 into 11 plus X, 10 plus X, that way, equals to 56 into, when I divide LCM by the second denominator, I'll remain with 30. Yeah, I shall remain with 30. So I'm done with the LCM now, and I can open brackets and group terms. I can open brackets and group terms together. So I'll have X squared plus 21X plus 110. 7 into X squared plus 21x plus 110. This is equal to 56 by 30, which is 240. Let me confirm 30 by 56. No, this is 1680. 1680 that way. But 7 can simplify. By 7, let's check the right hand side becomes 240. So x squared plus 21x plus 110 equals to 240. Now with this, we can also say that x squared plus 21x minus, I have to take 110 minus 240, giving us negative 130. This is equal to 0. So with this analysis, we can now get some values of x, such that we need to say x is given by the value of b, negative b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 into a times negative 130 out of 2 multiplied by the value of a, which is 1. So x will be given by, let's check, 21 squared minus 4 into negative 130. This gives us 961. So I'm supposed to take the square root now. I get 31. So negative 21 plus or minus 31 out of 2. The two values of x shall be, when we start by positive 31 minus 21, I'm getting 10 over 2, which is 5. Or I choose negative 31 minus 21. This gives us negative 52 over 2, which is negative 26. So the two possible values of x are negative 26 and 5. So being a number of marbles, then we pick the positive value, which is x equals to 5. Therefore, the number of red marbles is 5. And if it's 5 now, we can now get back to our tree diagram with specific information. Very specific information now. So now we can redraw our tree diagram with specific information. Specific information. According to the information here, we are saying that now instead of sum, we know they are 5 now. So 8 plus 3 and 5, we are getting 16. So in the tree diagram, we can pick, starting with blue, green, red. Blue, green, red. 8 over 16, 3 over 16, and 5 over 16. Those are the probabilities. In the second picking, we can have blue, green, red. In this case now, picking blue becomes 7 over 15. Picking green, because we had not picked green, they remain 3 over 15. This one's 5 over 15, that way. Then if we had picked green, we can still pick blue, green, red. Picking green for the second time after we had picked a green is going to be 2 over 16. But this ones will remain with the original totals of 8 over 16 and 5 over 16. Then finally here, we can have blue, green, red. Picking red for the second time after we had picked a red is now 4 over 15. The new totals are 15s. Sorry, not 16. So 15s. So this is 2 over 15. 8 over 15 and 5 over 15. Then here we shall have 4 over 15, meaning that this will remain 8 over 15 and this 3 over 15 original totals. With this now, we can have the outcomes here. Blue, 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 green, blue, red. Then here we are having a green, blue, green, 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 red. After that, red, blue, red, green, red, red. Those are the possible outcomes. We can proceed now with the questions, whereby we are told, using the tree diagram in B above, find part 1, the probability that 2 marbles picked are of the same color. So we need probability blue, blue, or probability green, green, or probability red, red. That's what it means by blue, blue. Remember, blue by same color. So blue, blue is already given as 7 over 30, or means addition. Yeah, or means addition. So to pick green followed by green means 3 over 16 followed by 2 out of 15. Now picking red followed by red means 5 over 16 followed by 4 out of 15. And this, when computed, will give us 41 out of 120. Yeah, 41 over 120. Very simple. Over 120. Part 2. Find the probability that at least a red marble is picked. At least a red marble is picked. This one can be done in 2 different ways. Probability at least a red. We just need probability, the cases where at least a red is appearing. At least a red is appearing. As long as you see a red, pick. So this one, you see a red, pick one. This one, or this one. Yeah, that way, as long as there is a red appearing. So blue followed by red, that is a 8 over 16. Then followed by red means 5 over 15. Or as long as there is a red appearing, this is a green, red. So green, 3 over 16, followed by red. Red is here, 5 over 15. Or red, then blue. So 5 out of 16, then blue means 8 over 15. The next option can be red, then blue. That one we are done with, red or blue. Can have red or green. Red followed by green, that is. So 5 over 16 followed by green means 3 over 15. Or it can still be red and red. Red followed by red means 5 over 16 multiplied by 4 over 15. Yeah, 4 over 15 that way. So when you compute all this, then you shall get 13 out of 24. 13 over 24. Yeah, 13 over 24. That's done. 13 over 24. So that's all on the probability. Again, a very technical question. Also in the part 1. You know, once a student has understood part 1 and is able to understand it and comprehend what is happening, that student will be able to work out very quickly. Okay, we proceed to the last concept here. which is on longitudes and latitudes. Yeah, longitudes and latitudes. Number 24. The position of a point P is 12 south, 36 west. An aeroplane leaves P on Monday, 9 a.m. and flies due north to a point Q, which is 60 degrees north, 36 degrees in the west. That means this plane is flying along the same longitude of 36 degrees in the west at a speed of 660 kilometers per hour. After 30 minutes break at Q, the plane changes course and flies due east at the same average speed for 4 hours, 33 minutes to a point R. It's a very interesting question. Look at part A. Taking pi as 22 out of 7 and the radius of the earth is 6370 kilometers. Calculate part 1, the distance in kilometers covered by the plane from P to R. So we start from P to Q first. Let me show you how the places are. This is the equator, 0 degrees. This one is 0 degrees, prime meridian. So we are talking about 36 in the west. 36 in the west. This is 36 in the west. Then with that, we can talk about point P, which is 12 in the south. 12 degrees in the south, meaning that P is here. We go northwards to 60 degrees in the north. So that now the position of Q is at that point. Then from there, we shall move due east. So we move to the right to a certain unknown, this is the latitude, the longitude, a certain unknown longitude where the position R shall be. So R will be at a point here, but we don't know exact longitude. We know the latitude is 60 in the north because from Q, we are flying to the east. Now, we are finding the distance, the total distance in kilometers. Let's find first of all from P to Q. This distance along a great circle, and the distance is in kilometers. So how do we get distance along a great circle in kilometers? We need beta over 360, 2 pi r. Now we should talk about what beta is. Beta is going to be 60 plus 12. 60 plus 12, which is 72 degrees. 72 because we need the latitude difference. Check here. We are having from P to Q a certain angle. So the angle at the center here, remember we have 12 and now 60. So the total angle there for the arc PQ shall be 12 and 62 on the north side. So we have a total of 72. So now we are working with 72 over 360 multiplied by 2, a pi of 22 over 7. Then this multiplies by the radius of the earth, 6370. So with that now, we will be able to get the distance as 8,008 kilometers. But now from Q to R, the distance from Q to R, we need to talk about a speed of 660 multiplied by the total time taken. The same average speed, 660. 4 hours and 33 minutes. So 4 hours, 33 can be converted to hours. 4 hours and 33 over 60. So 33 over 60. This is equal to 11 over 20. So 4.55, that is the hours, multiplied by 660. We get 3,003 kilometers. So with this information now, we can say from P to Q, then to R, we'll have 8,008 plus 3,003. And this is going to give a total of 10,011. No, 11,011. Yeah, kilometers. 11,011. 11,011 kilometers. This is a comma. This one is a comma to show that 11,011 kilometers. So that is the total distance covered between the two places. Look at Roman 3, the location of R. We know that from Q to R, from Q to R, we are having a distance of 303. Now, this distance is along a circle of a small circle. A circle of a latitude, which is a small circle. Now, a small circle distance is given by longitude difference over 360 multiplied by 2 pi. Then pi we multiply by r, the 370, cosine of the latitude. And we know we are moving along latitude 60. So moving along latitude 60 now means, check that, along latitude 60, that is cos 60. So let's find first this longitude difference. We find the value of alpha. So I take 303 or 3003. I multiply by 360. I also multiply again by 7. Then I divide everything by 2 times 22, multiply by 6370, the cosine of 60. This is equal to exactly 54 degrees. So now this means from Q to R, there is an angle difference of 54. Look at it this way. The whole angle here is 54. And already from Q to prime meridian, there is 36. So for me to get a total angle of 54, it means there is another angle from the prime meridian to where R is. So I need to take 54 minus 36 now. 54 minus 36 is giving us 18 degrees. This is now the longitude. This is the longitude of R. The longitude of R. So that R is given by, we usually start by the latitude, 60 degrees in the north, 18 degrees in the east. Go to the east now. Here we've gone to the east. See? Yeah, 18 degrees in the east. So we move through an angle difference of 54. So if we are covering an angle difference of 54, we cover the first 38, then we cover 18 more now to the east. So the total angle covered there to be 54. You have to think deeply. You have to think deeply. We have the final part now, whereby we are taught to find the local time when the plane will arrive at R. Remember, the plane is going to leave the first point on Monday at 9 a.m. Then it's going to cover a distance of 8,008 at a speed of 660. So we can check the time taken from P, the time taken from P to Q will be calculated. And we are already having the distance and the speed of this plane. So now when we combine that, we should get the time in hours, which is being taken. So 8,008 divided by 660. I'm getting 12 hours and 2 out of 15. So these are 12 hours and 2 over 15 can be converted to minutes. And this is 8 minutes. This is now from P to Q. Then now we know that from Q to R, the time taken there has already been given as 4 hours, 33 minutes. 4 hours, 33 minutes. Yeah, 4 hours, 33 minutes. So we will say from 9:00, we are first adding 12 hours and 8 minutes. Yeah. 12 hours and 8 minutes. Then after that, we'll be able to talk about 4 hours and 33 minutes. Let's add this. 8 plus 33, this will give us 41. Then we're having 9 plus 12 plus 4, giving us a 25. 25 hours, 41. You know, this is an indication that we are already on Tuesday. This already Tuesday. We have 24 hours first to take us to Tuesday. Then there is an extra 41 hours, which has been spent. So the first 24 hours will take us to Tuesday. Then now, on top of Tuesday, there is 1 hour, 41 minutes. 1 hour, 49 minutes. So 41 hours on Tuesday. But now, on arriving at R, because the places are not on the same longitude now, we discover that at R, because R is to the east, time is already ahead. So it will be ahead by how many minutes or by how many hours? And we shall say that the 360 degrees of the whole Earth are rotated within 1440 minutes of a day. What about 1 degree? It shall be rotated within 1440 by 1 over 360. 1440 over 360, giving us 4 minutes. So 1 degree is rotated through 4 minutes. And now the angle difference from P and Q and R, because P and Q are already on the same longitude. So there is no time difference between P and Q. But now with R, there is a time difference. What about the 54 degrees? 4 by 54 minutes. This is going to be 216 minutes. 216 minutes. So R is ahead by 216 minutes. So how many hours are here? How many hours are here? We have 3 hours and 36 minutes. 3 hours and 36 minutes. So R is ahead in time by 3 hours, 36 minutes. So the time we will find here now, the time we will find here on Tuesday shall be, first we talk about, this is a 77, and with 77, with 77, then we can talk about, just let me confirm something here. With the 77 minutes, that is going to be 17 minutes here. The 1 hour will be carried, so that we have 05, 17 hours on Tuesday as the arrival time, which can be 5:17 a.m. 5:17 a.m. So I hope that one is properly calculated. Yeah, properly calculated that way. So thank you so much for following. Remember to subscribe and share.